I feel like what helped us in the beginning, I'll give a tip, is we used to do something called Follower Friday, where we would actually post some of our followers on our page, and it just used to really make them feel seen and excited. And I think that's what really helped us to build a community in the first place. So I'd advise that for anyone who's just starting out.
You're listening to Ecomonics, a Debutify podcast, your resource for one-of-a-kind insights into the world of e-commerce and business in the modern age. This is Joseph. I'll be presenting a wealth of industry knowledge from interviews with successful business people and our own state-of-the-art research. Your time is valuable, so let's go. Shannon Fitzsimmons, it's good to have you here on Ecomonics. How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here, and I'm happy to be able to continue on with learning more about. I get to learn from pretty much every niche on the planet. We've had to talk to people in candles and skincare. I've had a previous hair expert on, which I made sure to link you to just so you can get a sense of like where my experience is at this point. And we have another hair expert on today. And that's the first clues that I wanted to give to our audience. But usually it is to my guests to answer the question. So here goes. Tell us what you do and what you're up to these days.
So I am a curly hair blogger. I give advice on my curly hair page, UK Curly Girl, and YouTube channel, on Instagram, on how to transition from really damaged hair to get your natural curls. And I'm also the owner of the brand Oh So Curly, which is a hair tools and accessories brand.
To my audience, just so that they know, I wouldn't say I totally obsess over hair, but I definitely prioritize making sure that my hair is in decent shape. It is a value to me, and we've established in the past the importance of being able to convey that image. And but you said transitioning from damaged hair to something that's less damaged and repaired and luxurious. But I don't actually know, how does one identify that their hair is damaged? There's obvious, like if somebody was a little too close to a candle, but how does somebody actually know if their hair is damaged?
So a lot of people with curly hair, and they tend to straighten it just because they feel like they don't know how to deal with their natural curls, and that results in a lot of dryness in the hair. A lot of the times the ends of the curls are just straight because of the heat damage. So I have a lot of people come to me that don't know how to merge the two textures, the damaged and the new growth coming in. And then also they have problems with dryness, which is normal for people with curly hair. But if your hair is damaged, it's even more, harder for it to get moisture back into it. So that's usually how you can tell.
I was obsessed with that in high school because I had much longer hair. And I think for me, some of it has to do with, what we're influenced by. Like, for me, Reservoir Dogs was a big influence, and they're all like professional, criminals. That part didn't influence me, at least not too much. But for the most part, they slick their hair back, and it's all coiffed, and there's probably a lot of gel involved. And people want to emulate that. Other people want to emulate something more expressive. And I'm like, no, I love this businessman kind of cut. That's my kind of style, and I couldn't do it. And so I was trying to, I would run into the washroom, and I would like drench my hair, and I would try to comb it, and I would have this freaky part in the middle. And I'm like, man, no wonder I'm not getting dates. Like, it was just really, really difficult to make peace with my hair. And if I couldn't figure this out, I can't figure the rest of it out. I finally worked out a system, and I'm actually going to throw it into the crucible because I'm curious to know if I'm actually doing like a lot of harm with this. So here we go. So I like some curl. If I don't do anything, then it goes into Einstein mode. So usually what I do is I warned my audience about this, didn't I? So after the shower, towel dry, leave-in conditioner. And then I just use some gel on the sides, only a little bit, just to keep the sides from going haywire. And then I put a hat on. And what I do is I try to warm my hair almost like I'm baking it. And if I do it in the night, it's a bad idea because if I roll over my sleep, the hat falls off, or I get heat stroke. But if I do it during the day, 6 to 7 hours later, I take my hat off, and my hair it's not only is it dry, but it's set. and
Mm.
and I actually get really close to the look that I've wanted to achieve. And then the curls kind of come in little by little. They start to overtake the work done, and so it doesn't get too out of hand. So I've always felt like, okay, this is taking a lot of work, but I'm just wondering if any of what you said is raising a red flag.
It's actually not, but I feel like you could probably make it easier just by using a diffuser. I don't know if you've heard of that before. It's basically like a round head that you attach to your hairdryer, and then you just dry your curls upwards. And it's going to do exactly what you're saying the hat does, because it's just going to dry it and bring some warmth, and then it should set the curls. So I would probably just save some time and do that.
Worth a shot. I'm just relieved that I wasn't like, no, oh my god, you're increasing your chances of liver failure or something like that. Like I was actually genuinely worried about that. So all right. So let's. I just wanted to get that out of my system. So I appreciate your expertise. So, you have a core product. It's it's a satin pillowcase, and a lot of the products that we talk about on the program, and again, I mentioned our candle maker, our skincare maker. They always start with an issue that the seller, in this case you, is finding is not going solved. So let's go back to that point. What problem were you having, and what was it about, a satin pillowcase that managed to resolve this?
Yeah, definitely. I think I always struggled growing up, especially being mixed race and having mainly family of from Europe, Scotland, so straight hair. And I would go and stay at family houses or friends' houses, and I would wake up with my hair just a frizz bomb because they didn't know how to look after my hair. Back in those days in the UK, there were hardly any products for like my hair type. So it was always frizzy, always dry. And then when I managed to go to university, YouTube was just getting quite popular. So I decided to research how to actually look after curly hair. It sounds so basic, but we just weren't taught this. And a lot of the girls from America were saying that a satin pillowcase just transformed their hair and made it so much easier to manage. So I decided to try it. I didn't have a satin pillowcase, but I had a satin scarf. So I tied it around my pillow to try and keep it secure. And I woke up, I still remember that day, I woke up the next morning and my hair was just so like tamed and still curly and still moisturized, and it completely transformed my hair's health. And at the time I was kind of looking for a business idea. I was already blogging about hair, but I really wanted to own something of my own. So that automatically was, the closest thing I could think of. But I also wanted to be different. So whatever I invent has to be something different than what's typically sold on the market. So I remembered when I tied that scarf around my pillow and how tight it was. And a lot of satin pillowcases, they just zip up at the side, but it slips and slides when you're like sleeping on it and there's a lot of room. So I thought, how about if it was like a huge bonnet and fit around the pillow really tightly and had like an elastic lining? And that's where the idea came from, really.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to continue on with this. So with the development process, and when you said bonnet, I immediately imagined that it was string based. So I would tie it in a tight knot and then put that underneath and just hope it's not really warm, because it gets warm. You turn the pillowcase over, the cold side. Was there what was the trouble? Did you just come to that elastic idea, or was there some troubleshooting that took place beforehand?
And no, it just came to me. Yeah, I think especially because bonnets are good as well, and I do sell bonnets, but I find that sometimes they can fall off as well, and then you're just left with the cotton pillowcase and your bonnet at the end of the bed, which isn't good at all.
Right. Well, okay. And going into the next step, so one thing that I think is an important factor in this is that you have a blog as well, where you're sharing information and receiving information too. I believe that the ladies from the UK, or not from the UK, from the US, that informed you about this, they were connected to you by way of your blog, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll touch on that, because I think that's another important through line too. Is that what I've noticed is with a lot of the product manufacturers that we talk to, they tend to have a presence already, and that presence helps to inform them that actually, well, in your case, you said you were looking for business, but a lot of times what happens is it doesn't occur to them to even get into a business. It's just a lot of people are like, please give this to us. We will give you money. So we'll factor that in. But the next part that I want to know about is getting into the manufacturing process. So at the level, so there's a level you're starting at when you start making this, and then I guess there's the level that you're at now. So what do those two pillars look like when you had to start making it? Were you importing the product, putting the final touches together? Did you get in touch with the supplier and you instructed them? So how does it work?
Yeah, so in the beginning, because obviously mine is unique, there was nothing like that on the market. I couldn't even buy it from a supplier. I checked on Alibaba, couldn't find it there. So I actually had to contact a seamstress, a local seamstress in the area, who made satin wedding dresses, because I thought at least she's an expert in satin. So I brought a stapled sample because I can't sew. So I stapled it together, cut it out how I think it should be, and met her in person and asked, can you do this? And it took her about 5 tries to get it right. And then, went ahead with her, and I'd buy like a few a week, if that, at that time. And then eventually now how I do it is I have a manufacturer just outside of London who makes them in bulk for me. So completely different. It started off very small, very humble beginnings.
Yeah. And it's always encouraging to see if that, that humility beginning, because I think that as that expands, the gratitude of what people share with you, and they're so happy about what effect it's having on them. There's another aspect of this too. I guess I'm wondering about. This is getting very specific in regards to it, but what's been the longevity on these? Is this a buy it for life product, or is this something that you have to cycle through every 3 or 4 years? I don't know what satin is capable of.
Well, a lot of customers have said that theirs has lasted a few years, but I find that I have a lot of repeat customers. So I'm not sure if they're buying for friends and family, or because we offer quite a few different color options. I think they may be trying out the different colors, or, sometimes people have 4 pillows on their bed. Maybe they just want one for every single pillow. So, but they should last you a few years. Definitely. I mean, I have mine. I've got some of mine that I first ever made samples that I still use to this day.
Yeah, well, and I guess I can also see too if somebody just wants to rotate between them rather than have to overuse one, and so there's just well, if the more you have, the longer all of them last, because each of them has more downtime. Okay, so like I mentioned, I got curly hair myself. I generally don't know if I am going to go ahead and order a satin pillow. I haven't ruled it out completely.
You should.
So my overall question is, have you had much luck in marketing to men? It seems like it's kind of difficult for guys to really want to commit to this kind of product line versus ladies. So I'm just curious about your experience in that realm.
I've had a few men, and I feel like the men come from their wives or partners, and they realize how it's helped to them, and then they test it out. It actually helps me. But I am thinking of creating a men's line, just so it's more marketed to men directly, and maybe change the colors and branding. But it's all my customers are mainly female, maybe 10% men. Yeah.
Well, it gets into, I think, a deeper, psychological and cultural issue, which is, just encouraging men to be open-minded about something like this. I think for me, even one of the limiting factors is satin. I've always related satin as a feminine product. It even sounds feminine. And so I think part of it is the material. I don't know if, is it possible that there might be another material that's more male friendly?
No. I mean, you could have silk, but I steer away from silk because it's not vegan, and I like to stick with satin, and silk is quite expensive as well. So I like to go with a more affordable option for the customers.
Well, and again, speaking as a guy, I don't know if silk would come across any more masculine anyways. So it's a tricky issue. And before I move on to the next question, I'm just wondering if if you've had any other insights on this issue, and I don't just mean specifically on your particular product and your particular brand, but what you've observed more in aggregate, in where's the line between men not wanting to look like crap, not wanting to look abysmal, and being open minded about this. Me, I don't know. I kind of care, but not all that much. Like I said, I was using straighteners, I use conditioners. I'll do what it takes. But I'm also what's referred to as metrosexual. We were born and raised in the city, very much more the gentlemanly vibe rather than like the log cutter vibe. So, anyways, that's my take on it.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah. So just to go back to the question, have you observed anything more in like the broad sense? So again, not just specific to your product, but even in other products that other people are marketing to, just to help convince men that these are the problems that they do need solving.
Yeah. So for example, we sell a shampoo brush, and I've had quite different uses. So I usually market it for massaging oils into your scalp and for getting rid of dandruff and stuff. But men that have actually used it have found it really good for the beard. I've had bald partners of some of my customers that have just enjoyed having a massage to their scalp. And then also, I know a lot of men like waves. So it can be used to encourage that wave in the hair and that curl. So I personally haven't gone out of my way just yet to market directly to men, but I do know how I could do that. It would just mean getting some male models or male influencers, and I can definitely tell them what to do more to the men side of the market.
Well, I mean, if door is always open, by the way. So this is not like your one and only chance. So when you get to that point, you're always welcome to come back and let us know how things are going in that.
Thank you.
The other part. So one thing you touched on is people from the U.S. they were providing some insight into this, and that was a question that I had prepped. So I can kind of see where the logic of that question was going. So the question was, the USA, it does tend to have a great deal of influence on marketing and on branding. And I don't talk to people from the UK as much as I talk to, people from the West. So from the point of view of somebody in the UK, how much resonance does the US have in influencing on a cultural level, on a marketing level, on a business level? I want to know about your unique point of view being from the UK.
It is huge. Like I said in the beginning, when I needed advice for hair, I typed it into YouTube. It was all Americans. Which actually encouraged me to do my own channel, because I thought there's a gap in the market here for people in London, for people in the UK, to get someone like me to speak for them. Because although there are a lot of similarities, there are a lot of things that are different. For example, a lot of the curly hair brands that you see now in the UK, when I started, they weren't available here. And it wasn't until they saw the growth of the UK natural hair industry, they all decided to come into the UK, and now they're in UK stores. So I like to think that I contributed to the merge of the UK and the US scenes, but still to this day, I usually get a lot of my inspiration from the US brands, and it has grown bigger here in the UK, but still in every single thing, music, fashion, we all look to the US.
Okay. So going back to your blog, I think this is an important element of your story. And I myself, I tend to encourage the audience to, consider blogging and writing. I think it's a great way to support a brand. And then sometimes it also ends up being the leading factor or the determining factor in somebody's brand. And I think that's true in your case. So I'd like to hear about your social presence on that blog, and how you were able to leverage that and be able to take the product to the market, and how it, I guess, helped accelerate your growth.
Yeah, definitely. So I started off with blogging. I had an actual website that I was writing blogs and posting my pictures and before and afters, along with my Instagram page. But for a long time, I actually didn't connect the Oh So Curly and the UK Curly Girl pages, just because I don't know why. I just felt like people would maybe not like me advertising my own brand or would be put off because of it. So for years, I didn't actually show that I was the person behind it. But it wasn't until I actually did post it and put it out there that I saw a huge increase in sales and followers. Just because I think customers like to see the person behind the brand, and they trusted my advice over the years. They've seen my hair be really, really damaged and get to the length and the health that it is now. So personally, I feel like having a blog or just a presence as a founder on social media is going to really benefit you when it comes to launching your brand. I always, when I give advice to other business owners, I always tell them to show their face and show behind the scenes, because it's really going to help gain trust with the customers.
Right. And I think it makes a big difference, especially because of the personal and intimate nature of the product. I mean, hair is something very, very close to us. And it's because it's physically on us, and I think the difference between having somebody who is and also you're technically modeling the product too, right? Because you're showing the results of it and you're showing the work done. So seeing that, I think really elevates the trust level. And also the results of the product. So versus seeing just the product itself and not really being able to draw a connection between the product and the results of the product.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you can get models to do it, but again, being the founder and, having that personal connection to the product elevates the story as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like sometimes when it's just influencers on the page all the time, it can kind of feel not as genuine. Whereas if they see like the founder and you see the before and after, how it's improved their life, it definitely works well.
And when you were looking at other, sorry if I'm trying to figure out exactly how to hair brands with I guess within the USA, did you notice one trend more than another where a lot of these smaller brands or up and coming brands were based on a person, or did you observe brands that actually didn't do that but were still doing all right, and maybe what it was they were doing well that allowed them to continue to succeed anyways?
Yes. So I noticed that mainly they all had a female founder who was the face of that brand, and we knew their story, and they came from very humble beginnings, which I always loved and bought into. And then there were a few that didn't show the founder, but they had a huge presence on social media, and they had every single curly hair influencer that you can think of using the products. So their page was just full of every single blogger that you can think of using the product. So it was one of the two really, but I felt like where I already have a following as a founder, it would be best for me to kind of share my story too.
So just so I know, when did you start the blog? Like what year did it start?
2014, I think.
2014.
2014, 2015.
Yeah, so it's been about 7 years, which in online content time is an eternity. So that's what I'm wondering next is, I guess, what have you noticed to be the major changes in blogging compared to when you started, or some of the major shifts in trends, or just how people have related to it or engaged with the blog over time?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the blog isn't as popular as they were right in the beginning. Because if you think about the customer journey, a lot of the people that are following me, they've already done their hair journey. So now it's just like, how do I maintain this health? And they don't really need the full detail and lowdown on what I actually did to get to that place. And now I've realized that it's mainly just really short videos that people engage with the most now, whereas before it was a lot of YouTube videos that was me talking through what I was doing. But now it's just like, no, I just want to see it really quickly. You've got the reels now, you've got YouTube shorts, and everything's video form. And people don't have as much patience as they used to.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that you can use short videos to engage the audience, and then when you do have the ones that are looking for more information, they might be the ones to then come to the blog or come to watch longer form content. So, I mean, I don't know. I've always been a fan of longer form content. Like if I'm scrolling through YouTube and I'm just looking for something to put on, I'm like, that's 6 hours. I don't even know YouTube allows for 6 hour content. And I throw that bad boy on, and I just, I get to what I'm up to.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like with hair tutorials as well, though, it's very everything's been done already. So it's like that this whole industry needs to find exciting and new ways to engage people. So yeah, we've all grown.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess innovation is a tricky subject, and you certainly innovated in your way, and you've contributed to the bigger picture. But I think, from what I've observed in the other, not just in the hair care, but also I guess in the whatever personal body care, I think the biggest place for innovation has been making it either more eco-friendly or more environmentally conscious. So it hasn't been. I mean, I think the technical peak was reached. The problem is it was all chemical based, and it was dangerous to the body, harmful to the environment. So it's like, okay, let's try to now reach that same result, but in a way that's more equitable to all involved. So I'm just wondering if you've kept your eye on it, and have you seen other major innovations that have even surprised and delighted you?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of brands that aren't using packaging now as well for hair products, just to be more friendly to the environment. And being made in the UK it's quite an attractive thing for customers too, and obviously vegan. So I like to point out a lot that our pillowcases and satin is vegan too.
Yeah, I want to get into some of your strategies involving your brand and how you convey things online. So one thing that stuck out to me is that you have your two Instagrams. Typically, when I'm looking up on my guest, I usually only find one. Either I find the company that they represent, if they're an ambassador on behalf of a company, and I don't know, I can't find their personal Instagrams, or I'll find, or when we speak to drop shippers and or brand owners, it's usually I go onto their Instagram and they're wearing sunglasses and they're just showing their results for the day, and it's all well and good, but I don't usually see two. Your personal one and your company one. So there's the positives that I see is there's cross pollination, and there's the ability you can use your personal one more casually and even more for fun, even as a hobby at times. And then focus on what's important for building the brand on the other, because I think what happens is a lot of people get into this position where they have their personal Instagram and it's all they've got, and they feel pressure from having to convey their brand and something like that. Like my personal Instagram does not have anything to do with Debutify whatsoever. I have pictures of Fortnite, so it's a different thing. So in your view, I'm wondering about the positives, what you've noticed about having the two Instagrams. And I guess I'm also wondering if there's been any drawbacks as well, like if there's any like spreading yourself thin, or if saturating content or anything along those lines.
Yeah, definitely spreading myself thin. I always find that I take breaks from my personal one, just because having to create content for the both can be a bit much sometimes. But at the same time, it's really helped. So I do try and keep up with it. And I often find, because I started off doing a lot of curly hair tutorials and content, that people are missing that a little bit. So I try to incorporate it with the Oh So Curly products, just so I feel more, okay, I am doing that content to please them, but I am still promoting my brand. So it's just trying to incorporate them both. But to be honest with you, it's still something I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, well, so and like I said, I didn't want it to be all glowing either, because I think it's important if you were going to do this, then it does take additional energy. There's additional resources involved, so it's a balancing act between the two. So and the other thing that stuck out to me too, and I use Instagram a decent amount, and I know that there's reels, there's your photos, but I've never seen a guide. I looked at your Instagram. That was actually the first time that I saw a guide. And so I looked it up, and sequence of photos, and my memory is kind of blanking on me. I think there was text in between the two, and it was a pretty digestible way to maybe not have all the answers, but at least know like, okay, well, here's the basics of it. Here's how I can get started. And so I'd like to know what kind of traction you got from that, if you can tell from the back end, but what were the results of it?
Yeah, I feel like with the guide thing, it's like Instagram kind of made that feature, but it's not useful at all. I don't think people go out of their way to read guides on Instagram. I've had a few notifications on it, but I don't really know how it's doing exactly. I don't know. I think people are focus more on Reels now on IGTV. But I thought when it came, I might as well try it and test it out. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen any benefits from it.
Okay, yeah,
But it's nice to hear that you read it and liked it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Luckily, it's part of my role here. You know, I get the time to do my research and just see, and I see. That's the thing I have about Instagram, and this is an issue that I have with platforms in general. Is the more that they add different forms of content, the more addicted I am, but also the less I don't know, I appreciate it. It's like if you look at Twitter, the character limit increased, and then now I think Twitter is doing stories as well. Facebook is just a buffet. It's got everything, and I feel like that changes the relationship of the person to the platform. Instagram, I knew Instagram as a photo sharing app, and now I mean, if I'm on it, I'm almost exclusively looking at reels and stories, and I barely scan through images. So I mean, at this point, I'm just ranting, and I guess the issue with guides in particular is the mindset that people are when they're on Instagram. I think for the most part, Instagram is really and you know, you can disagree if you feel I'm wrong about this, but to me, it's really a luxury app platform. It's really just about, you know, seeing beautiful places, beautiful people, cars, updates from, you know, Fortnite, and I think it's very difficult to turn it into an educational platform, even in a small format. Incidentally, TikTok, which is half the length, has actually managed to become somewhat of an educational platform because people just do these bite-sized videos where they're pointing to like a bunch of steps, like here's things you eat in the morning, this, and this.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, that's actually a lot of information in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. I think it depends the niche that you're in as well, because I've kind of gone more into teaching other people how to start businesses and stuff. I do find that Instagram does have that same theme as TikTok within Reels and IGTVs. And I see the people that I follow do a lot of lives daily, just giving out advice. And, you know, now we've got like the badges feature. So a lot of people are taking advantage of going live. So I think it just depends on what you're interested in and what your niche is, but there's definitely space for a lot of education on Instagram.
Yeah, have you used IGTV? I don't even know I don't even know how what's the difference between that one and a reel.
Yeah, so IGTV is like Instagram's tried to compete with YouTube a few years ago. So it's just simply a video that's longer than 1 minute. You even get ads in IGTVs now. But I find that reels are more effective than IGTV. So I try and stick to reels if possible or going live.
Oh, okay. And you mentioned you're doing your course, and that's been a much more involved method to teach people. So I believe that it's a business course, right? To help people start up their own brands as well. So I mean, you can't divulge the whole thing because, you know, it's to your benefit not to do that, but we do want to know what it is, what it's about, what it runs through, and if any case studies, if anything sticks out to you of what results people have experienced coming out the other side.
Yeah, so I launched just 2 months ago. The course is called How to Start a Product Business from Scratch. So it's basically going to teach you how to all of the steps that I went through. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. So I'm just trying to help people to avoid those costly mistakes. And it comes to trying out samples and getting product from China and all of the fees that come with it, which I was burnt with a lot during my journey. We talk through how to actually operate your business, posters and packaging, marketing your business on social media, your website, pretty much everything. So if you are someone that is thinking about starting a business, or you've tried to start but you're not sure where to even begin, that's what this course is for. And I've actually had a testimonial come in from a lady who is starting a fitness brand. So she has the bands that you use to exercise, help with the glutes and the legs. And she found that it really helped her a lot, especially with the manufacturing side of things, because she had no idea where to get the product or how to even start with that. So that's really helped her. And I've also got now a coaching group called Boss Up Mentoring. And I have like a selection of entrepreneurs in a private group, and we have monthly calls and access to a group WhatsApp where I just give out advice here and there. So that's been going really well as well.
So yeah, I can't help but ask, because you mentioned on AliExpress that, so I think you said Alibaba, and you said you were burned on some of the products. And I may have taken that literally to the point where...
No. No, just the costs that come with it. Like you'll buy stock and then a month later you get burnt with a... Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think we just had a little hiccup there. No worries.
Yeah. So you get burnt with that customs charge, which if you don't know about that in the beginning, you can be quite shocked and not even know how to pay for it. So
this is just one small part of the course that I guess I would like to divulge, but it's the only other one I'll ask, which is when it comes to looking for products in the instance of looking for the exercise. What product sources are you, or what suppliers or websites are you looking into these days that you find are reliable?
So I still use Alibaba, AliExpress, but I find that for my type of business, because I'm very like branded and need a lot of stock, I usually stick to Alibaba. But I try to also research manufacturers here in the UK, but I do find that the price is way higher than buying from outside. So
it's prices is higher in the UK than to purchase from the outside.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to hear that. You would always think that because it's closer proximity that it would offset in some way, either shipping times or something along those lines, or at the very least a better quality product. But that's the thing, is that China is just leading the way. They've got the infrastructure for it, and they can self-fund. So they're just really hard to beat.
Yeah. I mean, I like to stay with the UK for our satin accessories because I'm very high on the quality for those.
Of course.
But for tools and stuff like that, I definitely stick with China because the UK is just so high.
So my next question is about advertising. I mean, we've talked somewhat about your promotional strategy so far. You have your blog, you're on Instagram. You're on Instagram twice. But I guess the other thing is also, I'm just curious about like if you're running ads, say like are you running ads on Facebook or Google, or if what platforms have been receptive to the kind of ads you want to run? I don't know if you're running them or not.
Yeah, I just dabbled into Facebook ads last month. So on Oh So Curly, I've been running a few ads and just trying to test the right audiences. I've been getting some sales in, so I'm just still in that testing stage, which is difficult. It is very difficult. But we'll see how it goes. I've spent most of my like marketing budget on influencer marketing.
And that's the other thing that I was wondering about too with the influencers, because influencers have got to be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. And along the same lines as too of like user generated content and affiliate marketing, which I also want to know about. So I want to know how you, where you're looking for influencers, how you're vetting them. And I also, this is a very specific curiosity in regards to the hair niche, which is if, say, they've already used other hair products, if that is an advantage or a disadvantage, just because if they're already, maybe promoting another brand. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess in the clothing, for instance, no brand is expecting somebody to wear the same clothing all the time. So it might be different in that niche. But I guess I'm just wondering more about like what kind of issues you've run into as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I think I kind of had an advantage in the beginning because I was an influencer and I've even met influencers in New York, and obviously within London and the UK. So I already had a connection with some of them. So in the beginning, I managed to get a lot of the influencer content for free, just as favors. And now we've evolved into paid marketing. So we usually vet most of our influencers via Instagram, just seeing what influencers are getting the most engagement at that time. Ones that have actually interacted with us as well, because I tend to like to go to influencers that genuinely like our products before we even offer to, work with them. And then I've lost my train of thought. What was the second question?
Affiliate and user generated content is the other component of this too. Is the customers, how you're turning them into ambassadors, and how you're using. I think because I was looking at your Instagram, and I'm pretty sure I was seeing some of your customers were images posted on there. So, and this is, I think, is one of the strengths and advantages of self-care products is, you can see the results, people are happy to share it, and they can show the results for themselves. So I just want to know more about, your UGC programs, affiliate marketing, anything along those lines.
Yeah, definitely. So I started off with a brand ambassador program, which was just managed by me. I just put it out there and asked if anyone would be interested in being a brand ambassador. And they would just post, I'd send them products for free, and then they'd just post on their page for free. And now we have more of an affiliate program. So bloggers will get paid, or even customers, if I feel like they are actually going to create content with the product, they'll get paid from every sale that they make, which has been going quite well, especially for the larger influencers that we work with. I find that you'll pay them to do content, but because they've got that affiliate link, they end up doing a lot more content on off their own back, which is really good for us. And then I feel like what helped us in the beginning, I'll give a tip, is we used to do something called Follower Friday, where we would actually post some of our followers on our page, and it just used to really make them feel seen and excited. And I think that's what really helped us to build a community in the first place. So I'd advise that for anyone who's just starting out.
Yeah, okay. I can see the value in that because it gives people something to anticipate. So that Friday the community comes together, and are you seeing a community is forming and bonds are forming amongst your customers?
Yeah, so we just started something else called it's our secret close friend story. So our top engaging followers and customers, we'll add them to our close friend story, and then on our close friend story we'll post any updates or exclusive sales. So it's just, again, something to make them feel more special than everyone else.
So something that I look into in regards to affiliate marketing is the pricing structure. So I guess for me, one of the things that I always found, difficult to reconcile about affiliate links is, so say I do a blog or I'm doing images, video, whatever it is, and I have the affiliate link, and they click it and they go and they purchase the product. And then I'm getting the commission for it. And it seems like the customer, in order to really incentivize them to click the link from the affiliate rather than from then going to the store themselves and bypassing the affiliate link, is for the link to have some form of even a discount or a coupon, even if it's 5%. Do you are the affiliate links? Do you provide coupons or discounts for those promotions?
Yeah, so the customer gets 10% off if they use the influencers code.
Yes, yeah. I'm always wondering about that, just because it's just a different means, and it's an investment on your part, but you're getting a lot of extra customers, a lot of extra activity for that. And so I would imagine that once they're there, repeat purchases are now all on your business.
And it's also good research for us as well, just to see what influencers have the most influence. So it's always cool to see who's using the most codes per influencer.
Okay, well, that was all the questions that I had in regards to into your business operation. A lot of good insights. So for our audience, always important to think about these different strategies. And so one of the terms that you used earlier on was hair journey. And I guess I, without realizing it, that I had told you my hair journey at the beginning, and it's still a little ongoing. I'm going to the mall later today for a dental appointment, so we'll see how much the diffusers are. And I guess I'm wondering about the overall philosophy of a hair journey, because I don't know, journeys usually they infer that there's a destination where they really find like a hairstyle that they really like and they want to stick to. With me, I just kind of like best case scenario. I was just trying to get it to look good. It wasn't like I was inspired by anime characters or Final Fantasy or anything like that. No, it's just people who like comb their hair back. So how does and you talked about your hair journey as well. Do you feel like hair journeys is about finding a destination, or is it more of like an ongoing exploration or a continued reflection of who you are?
I think the whole natural hair journey is definitely getting to end destination, and that's one of just understanding how to look after your hair, what products are going to benefit your hair, and just growing your natural hair back, because a lot of us relaxed our hair, which is putting the chemicals on it to just straighten it. Just because growing up, I find that a lot of the princesses in Disney have long straight hair, and if you're someone with curly hair, you didn't really have anyone to look to that looked like you, which I'm so happy that that's changed now. We have a lot more princesses with curly hair, and a lot more influencers and celebrities wear their natural hair now. But I feel like for our generation, we needed that transformation. We needed the roadmap on how to go from that damage and just get back to natural and learn to love your natural hair. So for me, the journey was loving my natural hair, but also loving myself as well. Because when you're in the process, it's having to remove those negative thoughts about, oh, I hate my hair, or it's frizzy, or it's always dry, and then just learn how to maintain your natural hair and learn to love it how it is naturally.
Yeah, because I guess I didn't think about that, because I don't spend too much time being influenced by Disney princesses. They'll put videos on in elementary school. Okay, we'll watch it. But one very proud moment is that the entire class just refused to watch all of Snow White. Like we cut like after the first 30 minutes. So that was a proud day. But yeah, you're right. There hasn't been that many, I guess, cultural influences. You either had like the straight or the tied up hair, like because they're going to a ball, or you had like Princess Leia, and her. I don't think anybody would go to school with that look, at least intentionally. The only character that I can think of off the top of my head was Merla from Brave, the Pixar movie.
Yeah,
she's a redhead, big curly
ones.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's another princess. I think it was like a Princess and the Frog. I forgot her name, but that was a newer one as well.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know the name of that one either. I think it's the Frog Princess, because it's more like like a Louisiana the Bayou vibe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually what I try to do, depending on the content or the context of the conversation, try saying that 5 times. I try to avoid like going too far into backstory at the beginning. So obviously we did the product backstory, but your personal backstory too is interesting. And my producer Micah, this is one of my favorite things that she does as a favor is she goes on to the LinkedIn. I'm paranoid. I can't go on LinkedIn. I can't. I don't like the fact that LinkedIn would say, "Oh, this person so and so built your profile." I'm like, don't do that to me, LinkedIn. I can't stand it. So she does it because she has more of a spine than I do. But what I saw was, you have a vast array of positions and a lot of experiences, and a lot of it is like television and film and media adjacent. To my recollection, I don't know if you had actually been on camera or anything like that. But what I'd like to know about, there's 2 things I'd like to know about your work background. One of them was whether it was iterative or if it was lateral. And what I mean by that is if you were able to build off of each experience, it would come with you, not dissimilar to, a house being built one brick at a time. Or if it was more of different pillars, like one pillar boosted your experience in one area, and then you had to kind of start from scratch at a different area. So I myself, like I've had a lot of different work experiences, but some of it is like a grocery store, and there's not a lot of experience in the grocery store that carries over into what I'm doing now, much to my dismay. So I'd love to hear about that, and I'd like to hear about some of the major milestones, or what from your experience really sticks out in your mind even to this day.
Yeah, definitely. So I started off wanting to be in media so bad. Like I auditioned for, there's a place called the Brit School here in the UK. Amy Winehouse went there, Adele went there. It was mainly like singing, dancing, but there was a sector for media, and they had like a radio station that you could work in and a TV studio, and I managed to get in. So after there, I went to university to study film and TV, went into it as an intern. I interned at MTV and a lot of other production companies, but I didn't enjoy it at all. And that's when it was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I ended up working, because I needed money, at Tesco, which is kind of like a Walmart, like a supermarket.
It's come up in my research earlier on. I was looking at what are the major outlets, not research for you, but like my research in general. Yeah. I remember seeing that. I don't know. At first I thought, it's Tesco. I think that's butter. Yeah, I confused it with something else.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much one of the biggest ones here. And they have a clothing department. So I used to work in the clothing department, but it was right next to the health and beauty aisle. So naturally, I did night shifts. So when it was quiet, I'd find myself in the health and beauty aisle looking at the hair products, but noticed that there was never anything for my hair type. So I feel like my whole journey has led up to this moment, because that's when I kind of realized, hold on, there's a gap in the market here. I didn't enjoy my job, so I was trying to look for something that I could do. Why not fill the gap in the market? So I'm sure at the time I didn't think it would work out this way, but I feel like everything that I have done, even the film and TV, I film my YouTube videos now, so I know how to edit. Everything came from that naturally. So
well, I'm happy to hear that your experience in your supermarket actually did have an impact on you. I can't say that other than my back hurts. Like that's all I've really got from that. Well, that's pretty much everything that I've got prepared for you today. I guess I'll before I do our wrap up question, I'll leave the floor open to you if there's anything else that you'd like us to know about your business. Maybe I missed a spot, or if there's a rock I forgot to upturn, something along those lines. I'd like to hear about what in a grand perspective you really like to see either change within the self-care products, and by that I include hair, I include skin, all of that stuff. What you'd like to see in the e-commerce space, or what's kind of like either like what's exciting you, what's scaring you. I'd love to hear what your views are on that in that area.
Well, leading back to what we just talked about with Tesco, I feel like for me with my brand, my like full circle moment would be if we could be in Tesco actually on the shelf. So that's one of my main goals with the brand. But at the moment, I'm just trying to figure out some new products that I can invent again, because we do sell a lot of products that are already available on the market, but I want to invent something new again. So I'm working on that, and then we'll be launching a kids line as well. So I really want to get into kids hair care and educating the future generation on natural hair. But I would love to see hair accessories and tools for natural hair available in your everyday stores. So we've got better with hair actual products like shampoo, conditioner and stuff, but the accessories and tools still not available. So I hope to fill that gap.
All right. Oh, actually, I guess that was one thing I forgot. See, there was a stone I forgot to upturn, which is because I think some of your products are available in stores. Am I right?
Yeah. So we have some in the smaller, like niche stores that sell like natural hair products here in the UK, and some online retailers as well. But they're very catered to curly hair.
Just wanted to make sure I checked that one. All right. Well, yeah. Well, Shannon, it's been great talking to you today. As always, any chance I get to learn a little bit more about my hair, I take it. And so that's definitely my one thing that's helped me out today. And to our audience, as always, even if you yourself, you might not be interested in one niche or the other, you should still be paying very careful attention to a lot of the key strategies and a lot of the elements that go into making a business work. So with that, Shannon, the final wrap up question is, if you have, say, words of wisdom, or if there's like a quote or a proverb that you really like, you're welcome to share it. And then let the audience know how they can find you. Either maybe they need to go get something for their hair, or they want to learn more about you on the business side.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to share something that I'd actually shared on my page. It was a quote that I thought was really good, because I know for me, it's taken me quite a long time to get to where I am now. Whereas I think some people it can be quicker, but a lot of people it puts them off. So my quote was just to keep going. It may take you 4, 5, 7 years, but you never know that 1 year later could be the year that you blow up and you're the biggest brand in the world. So just to keep going and keep that faith.
When I think I've heard that quote in the past, and when I do, it reminds me of this image where you have two people who are digging a tunnel. And one person is just about to hit, and there's a bunch of diamonds on the other side. And the other person, walks away dejected. So like, as long as you can dig, keep on digging.
Yeah, I love that. I love that image as well. Yeah.
I was just going to say, and then let the audience know where they can find you.
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at UK Curly Girl. And then the business is at OSO Curly, Oso Curly. And the website for the business is osocurly.com. And then you can also find my course details and any details on coaching via the UK Curly Girl page. Oh, and YouTube, UK Curly Girl too.
And so with that, once more, I thank you graciously for your time and your expertise today.
You're welcome. It was lovely to have this talk with you. And I hope that you get a diffuser. I'd love to hear how it goes.
I'm not ruling it out, but I also don't want to make any promises. To my audience, as always, it is an honor and a privilege to be able to collect this information and share it with all of you. So thank you for all of you for your participation. And we look at the stats. You'll listen through the episodes start to finish. I just want you to know that means a lot, because a lot of people are struggling to keep people after the 20-minute mark. So thank you all for being engaged. And please, I want to know who you are and what you're up to as well. So email podcast@debutify.com and get in touch. I'm more than happy to even share my expertise with you guys. So with that, take care, and we will check in soon.
How do you find the right people to do that job? How do you make sure that...
Hey, this is Joseph from Ecomonics. Just wanted to thank you for being here and for giving this content your time and attention. I hope you learned something. I can say with certainty, I have learned something with every episode that I have done, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. There's a couple things you can do to help us out. If you want to check out the audio content, we are available on all major podcast platform distributors. And while you're there, give us a 5-star review. It helps a lot. And while you're here on YouTube, there's a lot of things you can do to help out as well. It's not going to take very long. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button for this episode, and hit the notification bell so when we have new content for you, it's going to be at your doorstep ASAP. Lastly, this podcast is created by Debutify, the best Shopify template available. It is 100% free for you to start, and it can change your life. It can make you so much more free than you are right now. So if this episode wasn't enough to convince you, I think a few more might do the trick. So have at it.